you all to the welcome you all to the Sunday Bhagavad Gita classes. So we are in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita. So far in the chapter 2, what have the things that we have seen? We saw that in the beginning of the chapter, Arjuna was very confused and indecisive about fighting in the war. So this also is a continuation of the chapter 1. What are the reasons why Arjuna did not want to fight? First, he thought about compassion. Second thing is loss of enjoyment. Third thing is about fear of sinful reactions. And the fourth thing is destruction of family traditions. And the fifth thing is indecisiveness. So at that point of time, Arjuna accepted Krishna as a spiritual master. It's because he was totally perplexed and he did not know what to do. So, similarly, even in this material world, we are perplexed out of our situations. Every day, if we can see that none of us are peaceful. We are also confused. We do not know where we are heading, what is the goal of the life, and how do we get out of all the mess that we are undergoing. So, we also have to surrender to the Guru. So Krishna as a guru started speaking, and the first thing he is giving is the knowledge about the soul and the body. So Krishna says that we are not the body, we are the soul. And he gives several characteristics of the soul in different angles so that Arjuna is convinced that even if he is killing them, actually speaking, they are not killed because the death is only for the body but not for the soul. So the six transformations that happens is only for the body. So the body undergoes birth, and then the body grows and then remains for some time, and then the reproduces, and slowly the dwindles, and then there is a death. So this six changes is happening only for the body, not for the soul. So Krishna gave a very graphical example saying that Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatrana mukyati. So within this body, we can see that our bodies keep on changing within this lifetime. We will see that we were a child, then we became a youth, and slowly we are getting old. And one day, everybody has to leave the body. So, similarly, the soul at the time of the death, it just leaves one body and takes another body. So now today's sloka, what we would be seeing is when we are leaving something and when we are going to another thing, what is something that we can really carry forward with us? So this particular sloka, what we are going to do is also Krishna already introduced Buddhi Yoga in the previous sloka. And then later on, Krishna is speaking about enjoyment, karma kanda activities. Generally, the materialistic people, what do? They want to enjoy their life. Whatever they do, they want enjoyment. But the people who are pious, the people who are religious, they do it in a dharmic way. They do certain yajnas, they do certain sacrifices so that they know that this particular enjoyment also comes only by the mercy of the Lord. It doesn't come by itself. So, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in terms of enjoyment. So, he's mainly speaking on 2 points, saying that if Arjuna is winning the battle, he will be enjoying the earthly kingdom. However, if he loses the battle and if he dies, he will enter the heavenly kingdom. So, both are a win win situation for Arjuna. Therefore, Arjuna should not think about fighting. He should not even worry whether he should fight or not because both are beneficial. So, this is what he is saying. So, Krishna is particularly starting this third division with the enjoyment because that is a propensity of the living entity. Even though we have the knowledge that we are not the body, we are the soul, because we have been in a bodily concept of life for many lifetimes, this is not going to go away very easily. And then in the following sloka, Krishna is telling that whether you win or whether you lose, whether you get happiness or whether you get distress. So, whatever it is, just do the duty for the sake of duty, doing the duty. By doing so, we will not occur any sinful activities because it's very important for us to do our prescribed duties, whatever according to our varna and according to our ashrama, we need to do our specific duties like Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. This is the social order, and spiritual order is Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. So, when we are doing our prescribed duty, so we do not incur any sinful activities for doing so. And then in the previous sloka, we saw that Krishna is introducing Buddhi Yoga. Thus, I have described the knowledge to you through analytical study. So, Krishna has given Sankhya Yoga. This chapter is also called as Sankhya Yoga because it is giving an analytical study of the difference between the body and the soul. So, Krishna has given a complete analysis of the soul, the characteristic of the soul. Soul cannot be cut by any weapon, soul cannot be withered, soul cannot be drenched by water, and soul is indestructible, soul is immovable. Like that, Krishna gives several characteristics, like how a medical practitioner, when he is doing an anatomy, he dissects the body and see each and every particular part of the body, right? So similarly, Krishna has given an analytical study of the soul. So now Krishna is saying, now listen as I explain in terms of working without fruitive results. So this is very important because generally anything people do, they expect, what do I get out of it? Suppose you're going to the job, you think, okay, what am I going to get out of it? This particular job, will I go forward? Will I advance in career? Will I meet the expectation? And even within the relation today, we see that we have friendship with someone, or we have because we are thinking, what am I going to get out of this particular thing? For you to means expecting some result out of it, some
Yes.
materialistic desire. So one has to come out of it. Just do your duty, not expecting anything out of it. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. Otherwise, what does the work does is the work itself binds us. Banda, karma bandhana. Bandhana means what? It binds us. So any activity we do in this world, either it becomes papa or punya. So when you do papa karma, we suffer in the very lifetime, or in the next lifetime we are born with the suffering. We see some people are born in a very poor family, some people are born with some birth defect, some people are born blind. So all these things is not just by chance, because they have done some karma, because of that they have to suffer. And pious activity, people who have done a lot of piety, they have done yajna, they have opened hospitals, they have fed the poor, they opened schools, so they get the birth in a aristocratic family like Ambani, like pyramid groups, like that great, they are born in a very rich family so that they enjoy the benefit of their previous karma. But both of them, whether you do punya karma or papa karma, it is binding us towards the material world. It is not giving us liberation from the world, because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says in the ninth chapter, Shine punye mtyuloke vishanti. After your piety gets exhausted, you go to higher planets. After your piety gets exhausted, what happens? You come back to this
Come back
material
to
world again. So this is not a good bargain. Anything that we do, even punya karma or papa karma, both are not going to help us to get out of the four main problems of the life, namely birth, death, old age, and
old age and
disease.
disease.
And apart from that, we have the tapatrayan, the three miseries. Adi Dhaivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. Miseries due to our own mind and body, misery due to the other living entities, and misery due to the natural calamities.
Surrounding.
So we are all suffering from these seven kleshas: birth, death, old age, disease, Adi Daivik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik. So within this material world, there are 14 planetary systems. Wherever you go, there is the effect of the birth, death, old age, and disease. Maybe these kleshas are not much there in the upper planets, or the kleshas, the Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik, and Adhyatmik is more pertain to the earthly planets. And this is also called a karma bhumi. Only from this earthly planet one can go to the spiritual world. For example, let's assume that you're living in an apartment. So if you're in the 10th floor, so if you want to get out of the society, you have to come to the ground level. You cannot just
Yes.
go from your 10th floor. And similarly, if you're in the parking, let's see P1, P2, there is an underground parking. If you want to get out of your society, you have to come up. You cannot just go from the P2 level, or you cannot go from the 10th floor like that. So, like that, this earth, this is a base for us to go back to spiritual world. Whether you're in the upper planetary system or lower planetary system, one gets a chance to go back home, back to Godhead only from this planet. Even the Devatas, they are looking for a pious family. They are looking for the devotee family where they can get birth and get out of this material world. Otherwise, even though they are in the heavenly planets, they are enjoying a very nice life, but still they are also subjected to this death. They are also not going to live forever. When there is a annihilation, universal annihilation, all the planetary system goes away. So nothing remains in the material world. Okay, so but something, whatever we have done, still, what is that stays with that goes with us always? So that is a sloka that we will be doing today. In fact, it is one of the very favorite sloka when I read Bhagavad Gita, which really inspired me and gave me a lot of motivation why we should remain in bhakti. So let us discuss this sloka today. So Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 40. नेहाभिक्रमनासोऽस्ति
नेहाभिक्रमणासोऽस्ति
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
धर्मस्य
धर्मस्य
त्रायतो महतो भयात्
त्रायतो
त्रायते
महतो
महतो
भयात्
भयात्
नेहाभिक्रमनासोऽस्ति
नेहाभिक्रमणासोऽस्ति
क्रमणास्तु कीस्ति
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
प्रत्यवायो
प्रत्यवायो
न
न
विद्यते
विद्यते
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
धर्मस्य
धर्मस्य
जायते महतो भयात्
त्रायते
त्रायते
महतो
महतो
भयात्
भयात्
नेहाभिक्रमनासोऽस्ति
नेहाभिक्रमणास्तु
नेहाभिक्रमणासोऽस्ति
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
प्रत्यवायो न
प्रत्यवायो न
विद्यते
विद्यते
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
धर्मस्य
धर्मस्य
जायते महतो भयात्.
त्रायते
त्रायते
महतो
महतो
भयात्
भयात्
Would like to do this sloka?
I can do Mansi.
Okay, Mataji, please.
नेहाभिक्रमनासोऽस्ति
नेहाभिक्रमनासोऽस्ति
प्रत्यवायो न विद्यते
प्रत्यवायो न
यो न
विद्यते
विद्यते
स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
स्वल्पमप्यस्य
धर्मस्य
धर्मस्य
त्रायते महतो भयात्.
त्रायते
त्रायते
महतो
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 भयात्.
भयात्
Now there is not iha in this yoga, abhikrama in endeavoring, nasha loss, asti there is, pratyavaya pratyavaya diminution, na never, vidyate there is, swalpam a little, api although, asya of this, dharmasya occupation, trayate releases, mahata from very great, bhayat danger. Translation: in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
Thank you, Mataji. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामी नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So, swalpamapyasya dharmasya. Swalpa means what? Alpa means something that is very little. Dharma. What is dharma?
Occupation.
Occupational duty. And Srimad Bhagavatam says the highest dharma of a human being is Savai Pumsam Parodharmo Yato Bhaktir Adokshaje. The highest dharma is rendering devotional service to whom? Adokshaja, who is Lord Sri Krishna. And how should we wonder? Ahaitukya apratihata. It should be unmotivated and uninterrupted. So this is the highest dharma according to Srimad Bhagavatam. So swalpamapyasya dharmasa, such a kind of dharma, even if you do very, very little, alpa means what? Very, very little. Trayato mahato bhayat. So what is the greatest fear in this material world for all of us? What is that something, Mataji? Death.
Death is-
Yeah, death is the greatest fear for all of them. Trayato mahato bhayat. So what does this do is one who is in this path of bhakti, they come out of the greatest fear, which is the death. And another thing is death is okay, but after you die, we say that, dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavvanam jara tata dehantara prapte dhirastatrana mukyate. The soul leaves one body and takes another body. So what body you're going to take? Right? It is also a fear. We do not know. Suppose you are going to meet a friend who is living in a different city. Let's assume that it's not a very, very big city, and you're getting down in the bus, let's say around 12 o'clock in the midnight, and you do not know the friend's address. And you got down the bus and you don't even see your friend. How will you feel? You will be clueless. You will be very much scared. In the dark, pitch dark, nobody is there. You don't have address. You do not know what to do. So similarly, in the death, it's like that situation. Now this body has ended. This life has ended. All the relations to everything that you have been attached, everything is gone. Now who is going? Where are you going to go next? That is a very, very fearful situation. So it can so happen that one may get degraded into the lower form of life also. So we know that there are 84 lakh species of life, and we get human form of life after being in 80 lakh species of life. So this is also an evolution. So it took many, 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 many lifetimes for us just to get a human form of life. Right? Durlabam manusham janma. Manushya janma is very durlabam. Prahlad Maharaj says, Kaumaram acharet pragno dharman bhagavataniha durlabam manusham janma tadapi adruvam ardatam. Even though it is temporary, like any other life, but it can be made meaningful. Only in the human form of life we can understand how can we get out of the miseries. We have the knowledge to understand the Shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and we have that intelligence to come out of this material pants. A dog or a cat cannot understand anything, right? So, after getting this human form of life, and if you're not utilizing it, then what is the use? Right? Like you have got a BMW car. Instead of utilizing it to drive in a good road, if you are utilizing in the field to just as a tractor, what will happen to the car?
It get damaged.
It will get damaged. Such a nice car you have, and you have utilized it for a wrong purpose, not an appropriate purpose. So we have got a human form of life for self-realization, to get out of the pangs of this death, birth, death, old age, and disease. And instead of utilizing this human form of life, if we are utilizing it in sense gratification, which is available in all life, whether you're a cat, whether you're a dog, whether you're an ant, whether you're an elephant, in every body there is an opportunity for sense gratification. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Is this opportunity is not available for all the species of life? So what makes us different from being an animal? Is only that dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. It is a dharma that differentiates us from being an animal. Dharmena hina pashubi naranam. Without dharma, we are a two-legged animal. So even this particular dharma a person does. Swalpamapyasa dharmasa trayato mahato bayat. So, like right now, we are in the book marathon. As a Gita Jayanti is approaching, we are distributing books. So, why are we doing this activity? So that we can use some Sukriti to all the people. Even if somebody pays 20 rupees or 30 rupees to buy that book, they have done Swalpamapyasya dharmasya. They have done a little bit of dharma. Otherwise, that money would have gone for some sense gratification. So, because of that, the seed of bhakti has gone in them. Okay, in this lifetime, if they are not reading, just because they received the book, forget about receiving. Even if they touch the book, the seed of bhakti they are receiving. And from there, their journey will continue. So that is why a devotee is doing this particular preaching activity, especially in this book marathon time, distributing the books far and wide so that the general population gets benefited. What kind of benefit? Benefit from the fear of death or benefit from the fear of going to the lower species. Neha Bikrama Nasosti. So, in this endeavor, there is no diminution. Suppose in this material world, every endeavor that we do, it will be successful only if you do 100%. Right? Let's assume that we are doing PhD. Until you finish your last paper, will you get your PhD degree? Let's assume that you have done 99% of your PhD program and 1% is missing. Will you get your degree? No. It will be a failure for you because you did not complete. So, but let's assume that you have got your PhD also. You did 100% and you are a doctor this lifetime. So, next lifetime, is this a guarantee that you will be a doctor again? You have to still start from ABCD. If you have studied so much this lifetime, why is it not getting carried forward in the next lifetime? We should have already known ABCD. We should have known everything. We should just start at 3 years, 4 years. We should be a prodigy and we should do much more. But is this happening? No, because everything gets lost. But bhakti is not like that. Even a little bit of endeavor you do, it will get carried forward in the next lifetime. We will see a 3-year-old children, a 2-year-old children, 5-year-old children are able to recite very nicely Bhagavad Gita. They are able to recite very nicely Srimad Bhagavatam. They are having the thing. How they are able to do that? Because they would have got it from their past life. Otherwise, it just cannot come for a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old to recite the slokas very nicely, to memorize and tell. It's not easy, right? You tell them to memorize one paragraph in English. They cannot memorize. But you give them a sloka, they will memorize very fast, right? Because they have already been bringing that bhakti with them. So in this diminution, this is a real shield. The devotion, whatever activities we have done, it doesn't go in vain. So let's assume somebody has done some bhakti. They try to do some chanting. They try to read Bhagavad Gita. They try to read Bhagavatam. And it so happened that later on they got busy with their work, busy with their life, busy with their family, and they gave up Krishna consciousness. But still, it will not be completely gone. Somewhere or the other, Krishna will make an arrangement that they will come in touch with Krishna consciousness again, and their devotional service will continue. So this is a story of a person in America. There was one devotee who was working as a pujari in the temple. That was his thing. But somewhere there was some dispute in the temple amongst the devotees or something, and he got frustrated and he left the temple and he just came out and he was trying to lead, a normal life. But good thing is he remained as a vegetarian. He did not give up being a vegetarian. So once he was taking a flight in the West Virginia. His father just passed away, so he did his cremation and everything, and he was taking a flight. So in the same flight, a couple of devotees from the New Vrindavan temple, they were also flying, and they packed some prashadam. It so happened that they packed a lot of prashadam for both of them, even though it was a short journey. By mistake or something, there was a lot of prashadam was being packed. So they thought, we have some prashadam, so let us try to distribute to someone. So this particular person was asking for vegetarian meal from the flight attendant, and they did not have vegetarian meal. So this particular devotee, she was approaching this person and asked, "We have some nice vegetarian meal. Would you like to take?" He first says no, but then they say, "See, anyway, you wanted to have food. You look very tired and everything. Why don't you eat?" And then you say, "I know that Krishna will not leave me." And he told about his story. He was a pujari, he left the temple and he remained a vegetarian. He went for his father's cremation. There was hardly anything to eat. For 3, 4 days, he was just surviving on some potatoes and like that. See, Krishna, somehow he comes behind me and he gave me prasada. And he had tears in his eyes. This is a real story that happened, just some few years back. So, devotional service is something that whatever we do, it will come with us. It is not going to be lost forever. So, that doesn't mean that, okay, let me just do a little bit. Another life I will get, I will do some more. No. What we should have the thing that we should be enthusiastic that let me finish off this business in one lifetime. Yes, there is a shield. Whatever we did, it is not going to be lost. At the same time, we should also try to attain the perfection. So that is only there. Why do we use the word called devotional service? Why can't it be just devotion? Why is the word service?
So basically, it is service to Krishna, and what is that
Because
called?
devotion
Surrender, na
comes,
Mataji?
Devotion.
yeah,
Service
devotion
to
comes with
devotion.
service. So let us take an example. Okay, you're also having love for your family, to husband and children. So when you're having love to them, are you not serving them? When your daughter is hungry, you just say, "I love you, beta," and if you hug, will her hunger go away? What do? We cook some nice meal and serve them. So love comes with service, right?
Yes.
So, similarly, when we say devotion, the devotion to Krishna also comes with service. We cannot say, "I love God." But when you love God, what have you done for the God? Correct? When you love your family, are you not serving your family? Correct?
I think we have to serve them first and then only.
Love comes. Exactly. So without service, there is no love also. Correct. So when it comes to devotion, so devotion also comes with the service. That's why Prabhupada used the word called devotional service. You have not heard this kind of word in any other books. Prabhupada introduced this word called devotional service. So Krishna is not hungry. There are millions and millions and millions of devotees Krishna has. Why that he has to accept something that we are serving? What is the need for Krishna to accept something that we serve? We offer him some little food, we offer him little water, little flour, little milk. Why is Krishna accepting? Why should he accept? He accepts when we are giving it with devotion. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prechati. One who is offering me fruit, flower, water, or leaf with love, Krishna accepts it. So, this is also coming when the devotion also comes with the service. Then, why did Krishna say about offering something to him? So, in the exchange of love, there is some service. Yat karoshi, yat dashnashi, yat juhoshi dadati, yat tapasyasi kaunte, yat tat kurusva madarpanam. Krishna is telling Arjuna, whatever you do, whatever austerity you do, whatever you eat, everything do it as mad arpanam. Offer it and take it to me. So, this is the very great thing about devotion. Being in devotion and doing bhakti, it is a real insurance for our life that it comes with us no matter. जैसे LIC says ना जीवन के साथ भी जीवन के बाद भी, that actually happens only with bhakti, not with LIC. जीवन के बाद, are you getting anything? Let's say that you
We are
have a
not getting
10
anything.
crore insurance. Are you taking this 10 crores with you when you go?
No.
So how that Jivan ke baad, how does it come? But bhakti, Whatever the devotion you have done, even if you have not perfected, even if you have done 10% of bhakti in this lifetime, in the next lifetime, you will start from the 11th percentage. Even if you have done 1%, you will get from 2%. So that is why even these devotional literatures like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, if somebody has got in this lifetime, and even if they have not read, somehow or the other, Krishna will come back to him again, because he will get a chance to read those literatures again. Anything that we have done in bhakti, absolutely, there is not going to be any loss. Okay. So, highest transcendental quality of work. So, activity in Krishna consciousness or acting for the benefit of Krishna without expectation of sense gratification is the highest transcendental quality of work. So, how do we serve Krishna? With expectation of some results or without any expectation?
Without expectation.
Without any expectation, right? So, a child has to ask the father, Father, please give me bread today. Please pay my school fees. Please take me here. Please take me there. Is there any need for a child to go and ask all these basic things to the father?
It can understand on his own.
No
Because
need.
the father will take care of all the needs of the child, right? So similarly, Krishna is our eternal father. Aham bija pradapita. So if you are approaching Krishna for something, I want promotion, I want good health, I want a house, I want a car, I want this, I want that. So whatever has to come to you, it will come. Do you think you have to ask Krishna for that? You don't have to ask Krishna for that, because Krishna is your well wisher and he will give whatever you will be using it. See, for Sudama, Krishna gave a very, very big palace, right? It was the opulence of Sudama's palace was greater than even Indra's palace in the heaven. Imagine the kind of opulence that he gave for Sudama. But why did he give to Sudama? Because he knows about the nature of Sudama. Even if he give all these wealth, Sudama won't get distracted. He will remain as a devotee. Therefore, Krishna gave this wealth. But some of us, what is the problem is, if we get lot of wealth, if we get a higher position, if we get lot of people who are following us for something or the other, what we will do?
We get
We will
attracted.
forget Krishna. We will keep expanding our social circle. We will think philanthropy, I'm feeding poor, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Even within the ISKCON, we will say, I am doing food for life. There also, we will try to get some sense gratification using our fame and name and our wealth, right? So Krishna also gives to us knowing that how much we can use it properly. If you are not even a recipient of that particular thing, Krishna may not give us. But we should not consider that to be this thing, because whatever Krishna is doing, Sukritam Sarva Bhutanam, he is a well wisher of all the living entities. If he gives, okay, I will utilize in Krishna's service. If he is not giving, it is okay. I am capable of keeping my body and soul together. I am getting enough Lakshmi to run my family, and let me be happy with it. Right? Like Anga, he was a great king and he had a son by name Vena, was a very, very cruel person. He was just killing people for no reason, and he was hurting people, and he was, becoming a very uncontrolled person. You know what did Anga do? He just left the palace one day and thought, okay, let me get detached, with this family lifetime. This is like this. So, this having a son like this made Anga to detach himself and go and pursue his spiritual path. So, whatever happens to us, if Krishna is doing something in our life, that is also for our own benefit. He is giving is also our benefit. He is not giving is also our benefit. So one should have a complete faith in Krishna. Raksha Ishyasi Vishwaso. He is going to protect me at any cost. That faith we should have on Krishna, that he is my supreme father, he is my eternal father, and he will protect me under all condition. We see sometimes when the child is small, what does the father do? The father puts the child up and catches. Is the child scared?
No.
Why the child is not scared? Because the child knows that the father will not leave him, right? So even though the child is going up and down, the child will not get scared. But if somebody else, if is trying to do the same thing with the child, what does the child does immediately? The child cries, right? The child will be very scared in the hand of other person
Yeah.
doing the same activity. So the same activity when the father does, the child is not having fear. So similarly, when we know that Krishna is our well-wisher, Suhritam Sarva Bhutanam, which Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita in the 5th chapter that Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhritam Sarva Bhutanam Nyatva Shantim Richati. We should have a firm faith that Krishna is our well-wisher and he will protect us. So any activity that we do in Krishna consciousness, that is the highest transcendental quality of work. So you may feed the poor, you may open a hospital, you may take care of an old age home, but they are in a charitable work. They come under Punya Karma, but that activity which you're doing for Krishna, that would be the highest transcendental, means it's beyond this material world that will help you. Okay? No loss or diminution in this work. Even a small beginning of such activity finds no impediment, nor can a small beginning be lost at any stage. Even if somebody has received Bhagavad Gita in this lifetime, and even if they have not read the Gita, they just touched, they read one line, two line, or three lines, but because they received Bhagavad Gita in this lifetime, somewhere or the other, down the thing in the next lifetime or following lifetime, definitely they will read Bhagavad Gita because they have got it. Because that is also a small beginning of an activity. Somebody giving some donation and getting Bhagavad Gita, is that not a highest transcendental work? Their hard earned money they are given for Krishna. Is it not a small beginning? Yes. We may say that they are not reading, they'll just keep here and there. That's okay. But at least they have begun and they are given a little bit of their hard earned money in donation. So that will not be lost. That would be a sukriti that they will carry, which will make them a devotee in some lifetime or the other. So even now, some of us are practicing devotion, but not the entire family is doing devotion. But they are also getting sukriti. How? Because you're feeding them prasadam. They are also hearing something that you're hearing. They are also hearing to your chanting. Willingly or unwillingly, somehow, whatever you do, they come in touch with you. So, because of that, they will also get the Sukriti, and some lifetime or the other, they will be also becoming a devotee. So, this is about the Bhakti Yoga or Buddhi Yoga, where even a small beginning will be of no loss at all. Work on material plane is temporary. Any work began on the material plane has to be completed. Otherwise, the whole attempt becomes a failure. You have constructed a house. You have done 95% of the work. You have not done plumbing or electricity. Will you be able to live in that house? No, right? So unless otherwise the house is 100% complete, you cannot live in that house. You have got an admission in a medical college. Unless otherwise you finish until your last paper, you cannot be a doctor. So everything in the material plane, it has to be completed. If you have not completed, nobody will take, okay. After some few years, your degree also will get expired, right? They may give few years for you for completion, like let's say 3-4 years more than your actual time. But if you have not completed within those 3-4 years, what will happen to your entire admission, your degree, whatever you got, it becomes expired, right? If you want to do, you have to redo it. But in the spiritual activities, in this Buddhi Yoga, devotional service, whatever the small thing you have done, it will not be lost. In this lifetime, you started reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's assume that for some reason or the other, you are not able to complete reading the Bhagavatam, but still in the next lifetime, Krishna will give you an opportunity so that you Read the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam comes back to you and you get it. An example, we are doing chanting, we are doing something or the other. We got little bit in Maya and we are not able to remember Krishna in the end of the lifetime. Ante Narayana Smriti. If it is not happening, that doesn't mean that everything is gone. Next lifetime, Krishna will give us an opportunity to be born in a family of a devotee. So that whatever we left, it will continue. That also Krishna says in the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Suchinam Srimatam Dehe Yogo Brashta Bhajayate. Arjuna is asking, what happened to that yogi who has not attained perfection in this lifetime? At the same time, he has not enjoyed the material life world also. Neither he is here, neither he is there. What will happen to such a person? Krishna says, don't worry, such a person will go to the heavenly kingdom for whatever the good thing he has done. He will enjoy for a long time, and then he will be born in a devotional devotee family, or he will be born in an aristocratic family where he has plenty of opportunity to do devotion. If somebody is already having a good amount of wealth, he doesn't have to work very hard to do your living, right? Your occupational duty. Why we are working very hard? Because there is a need for us to maintain the family. So we have to work hard. Imagine if this is not needed for us, then is there any need for us to go to 8 to 5 job or 8 to 6 job? Not needed for us, right? So we can utilize that time for bhakti. So this is what Krishna is saying, that he will give us an opportunity again so that we continue from where we are left. So this assurance Krishna has given again and again in Bhagavad Gita, not only in this sloka, and going forward in the 6th chapter also Krishna is giving us the assurance. Okay. Work in Krishna consciousness. Uma Mataji, would you like to read?
Work in Krishna consciousness. But any work begun in Krishna consciousness has a permanent effect, even though not finished. The performer of such work is therefore not at a loss, even if his work in Krishna consciousness is incomplete. 1% done in Krishna consciousness bears permanent results. So that the next beginning is from the point of 2%. Whereas in material activity, without 100% success, there is no profit.
We just saw that it has a permanent success. Even if you have done 1% of work in Krishna consciousness, let us see that we are organizing Janmashtami festival in the society. There are some people who are volunteering. They may arrange the chairs, they may do some prasadam distribution, they may help in some other thing, but they are not in direct devotion. They don't chant or do anything. But even the small work that particular person has done in service to Krishna, that will help them to go ahead in Krishna consciousness, because Krishna recognizes even that particular work, that 1% of the work he arranged for my Janmashtami celebration. So this particular person, Krishna ensures that he goes forward in devotion. Any work that we have done for Krishna, Krishna will always remember that. He will never forget whatever we have done. In the material world, we may say we may have done something good for someone. We might have even become an instrument to make the life of someone, right? We might have guided them in their career, because of which today they have a very great career, or we might have helped them in their beginning stage. Without our help, probably today they may not be in the stage where they are today. But easily people will forget. Once they reach a particular stage, they will not forget that who helped them in their preliminary stage, what was their journey. But Krishna is not at all like that. Any small thing that you do, you may forget, but Krishna will not forget. We may forget what we have done. So Krishna makes note of each and everything that we do, because he is living right within our heart as a witness. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hriddeshorjuna tishtati. Krishna says that I am seated in the heart of everybody, like a driver in the car, right? He is the one who is sitting within our heart as Paramatma, and he is a witness, and he notices each and everything that we have done. And Krishna ensures that, because Krishna wants us back. We are not the lost children of Krishna, right? So even this opportunity where there is a Gita distribution happening all over the world and everything, is this not Krishna's mercy that people are getting this opportunity to get such literatures in their hands? Right? Is it not Krishna's mercy? So much of prasadam distribution is happening all over the world. Is it not Krishna's mercy? Right? So Krishna wants us back. Therefore, he gives so many facilities for us to go back home, back to Godhead. So, example from history, Ajamila performed his duty in some percentage of Krishna consciousness, but the result he enjoyed at the end was 100% by the grace of the Lord. There is a nice verse in connection in Srimad Bhagavatam. Ajamila was a Brahmana, so initially he was doing all the activities very nicely. But it so happened one day he went to collect some flowers for deity worship. During that time, he saw one Shudrani. She is hugging a man and in a very, very wrong way. And his mind gets polluted and contaminated. And he develops the attachment to that prostitute lady. And he leaves his parents, his old parents and wife, chaste wife, everything. And he brings this woman and he maintains her. And he gets 10 children through her, and to maintain her he does lot of sinful activities. He does burglary. Sometimes he even kills some people. He kills animals to maintain the family. Like that, he did so many sinful activities. But the good thing that happened to him is because he did some Krishna consciousness before, even though he did lot of sinful activities later, his last son's name was Narayana. And everybody, we always say, no, last child is always very more dear to parents. Parents have some soft corner to the last child, right? So he always calls Narayana, bring me water. Narayana, what are you doing? Narayana, Narayana. So by this way he was chanting the name Narayana. Although it was not Lord Narayana, he was calling his son's Narayana's name very often. So at the time of his death, when he sees Yamatudas, he gets very scared. So immediately he calls out Narayana, Narayana, like that in a very helpless condition he is calling. But because he called out the name of his son Narayana, Vishnutudas came and they had a trip with Yamatudas and Vishnutudas. Yamatudas said that, this particular person has done so much of sinful activities. We have bundles and bundles and bundles of notebooks which talks about his sinful activity. Therefore, we came here to claim him and take him to Yamaraj. But Vishnutudas says that because he took out the name of our master Narayana, all his sinful activities got atoned. He has already got the atonement. How? By calling out the name of the Lord Narayana. Even though he did not mean the Lord Narayana, but one thing is he called out offensively because he called out in a helpless situation. So that was something which was there in Ajamila's chanting. But because of that, he did not go to Vishnuloka immediately. He was given a second chance. So he realized his mistake and then he went to Haridwar. He did meditation. He did devotional service. And after that, the gold airplane came from Vaikunta and he went. So we can understand even a small beginning which Ajamila had, being born in a Brahmana family, doing all the devotional service very nicely, even though he slipped, not even a normal sleep, he slipped very badly, right? He made grave mistakes of even killing the people. Imagine the kind of sinful activities that he has done. But still, Krishna gave him the mercy because that is also because he has done something in his past. So, tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan apaktota prate tato yadi yatra kva babhadram adbhut amushyakim ka vatra apto bhajatam swadharmata. If someone gives up his occupational duties and work in Krishna consciousness and then falls down on account of not completing his work, what loss is there on his part? So it so happened you have been doing some duty and you gave up that and you came to Krishna consciousness. And after coming to Krishna consciousness, also you did not continue. You somehow or the other, you fell down. But even if you did not complete your work in Krishna consciousness, there is no loss. And what can one gain if one performs his material activity perfectly? So there is, let's say, the other side. There is some people who perform their material activities very nicely. They do their work very dutifully. They are very nice. They are very polite. Overall, everything that they are doing is very nice, but they are not Krishna conscious. What is the use of such occupational duty? That is not going to help them anywhere. Right? In Bhagavatam, it says that Shrama eva hi kevalam. Any occupational duty that you're doing where you don't even have an opportunity to do Krishna consciousness, that particular duty becomes Shrama eva. Shrama means what? Hard work. Eva kevalam. Only the hard labor remains. Nothing else remains. Like, for example, a donkey can get grass anywhere, but the donkey is working for the master very hard to get the same grass. So, did the donkey really gain anything? What he got? Shramayeva hi kevalam. It just worked very hard. The labor was very hard, but ultimately the donkey did not get anything. So similarly, we see that if somebody is doing their occupational duty very perfectly, you can't find a single fault in them. Very diligent and very nice. But if they are not Krishna conscious, there's no use. But if somebody is doing Krishna consciousness, but they have not perfected, they are better than the person who just did their occupational duty without anything. For samsiddhir haritoshanam. Even in varnashrama dharma, whatever varna and ashrama you're doing, that should be to please Krishna. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. If it is not pleasing Hari, then there is no use of being in that varnashrama dharma also. Or as Christians say, what profit a man if he gains the whole world yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul? This particular sayings was also said by the Apple founder Steve Jobs. Before he left the life, he also said this thing because he also felt that he has not done anything spiritually. He has left his entire life for the development of the Apple Foundation. What profit a man gains if he gains the whole world? Entire world you got, but suffer the loss of his eternal soul. If you have not done anything for your soul, what is the use? Will these people going to come for you? Is anybody going to jump and come to the pyre and they are going to come for you? No, right? So, material activities versus work in Krishna consciousness. Material activities and their result end with the body, but work in Krishna consciousness carries a person again in Krishna consciousness, even after the loss of the body. At least one is sure to have a chance in the next life for being born again as a human being. Trayato Mahato Bayat. At least he will not become an animal in the next life. He will at least get a human life where he will be getting an opportunity to render devotional service further. Either in the family of a great cultured Brahmana or in a rich aristocratic family, that will give one further chance for elevation. That is the unique quality of work done in Krishna consciousness. So, whatever we are doing now, this is going to be a permanent one. So an intelligent person will definitely take to Krishna consciousness because if someone is intelligent, what does he do? Whatever work he does, he will ensure that it is done properly. It should have some permanent effect. Doing something for a temporary benefit, is it an intelligence? Sometimes, what is the difference between the child and the adult? If a child is not well, even if you refrain the child from eating some chocolates or something, the child sometimes cannot resist. If nobody is looking, the child will go and eat the chocolate because the child does not have proper intelligence. By refraining from this diet, I will become soon healthy. The child does not know. But we, the adult, what do we do? If we are given a diet, what do? We try to follow because we know that by doing that, we will become all right. Right? So, similarly, an intelligent person should know that whatever activities we are doing, if it has to remain with us, then we should practice Krishna consciousness. Without Krishna consciousness, all our activities are only 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. You pass your degree, you get 1 0. You pass your master's, you get another 0. You get your PhD, you get third 0. You get your job, you get another 0. You get married, you get one more 0. You get the house, you get one more 0. But imagine all the zeros without one. Is it of any value? But you get all the zeros, but if you have Krishna in the center, then one comes. Then everything becomes Krishna conscious. Your work becomes Krishna conscious. Your activity becomes Krishna conscious. You become Krishna conscious. All the activities that you're doing, it's becoming a permanent benefit. But without Krishna consciousness, everything is a zero. It has no value at all. Okay. So there are so many instances in the Srimad Bhagavata Mahapuran where we can see that the devotees who have done some bhakti, how they got benefited. Gajendra Moksha. Gajendra was a Indradyumna Maharaj. And once it so happened that Agastya Muni came and he was in meditation and he did not welcome him properly. Because of that, he was cursed to become an elephant. And he became an elephant in a higher planet. And once when he went to have a recreation with his family and with his wife and everything, one of the crocodile caught him, caught his leg. And they had for 1,000 years, they both were struggling and trying to come out of the clutches. The elephant Gajendra was trying to come out of the clutches of the crocodile. With the time, everybody left, family left, wife left, and everybody left. At last, Gajendra, because he was an Indradyumna Maharaj, he did the devotion and he remembered one prayer what he did in the previous life. And that prayer, when he recited, and there was a lotus leaves in the pond, and he took it and offered to Krishna. Immediately Krishna came. That too, he came so fast that he put Garuda on his shoulders because he thought Garuda will be slower than him. Because when the devotee calls, Krishna is waiting. When can I come? And then he got the moksha. So how the prayers that Gajendra as a Indradyumna Maharaj, when he did, that helped him. And Bharat Maharaj, he was also a very great king. The name Bharat is because of Bharatwar. And he had a timely retirement and he was doing a lot of spiritual activities. And it so happened that once he saw a baby deer who was miscarried by the mother deer, and because Bharat Maharaj thought that there's nobody to take care of the baby, he developed excessive attachment towards the baby deer. Although he gave up the attachment of the kingdom, wife, everything, but he got attachment to the small deer out of compassion. And because of that, he was become negligent in his spiritual activities. He was not able to do properly. Sometimes the deer went, and if the deer did not come back on time, his mind was worried. Did any tiger kill the deer? What happened to the deer? Therefore, he became negligent. He could not do his devotional activities properly. And one day the deer did not come. Bharat Maharaj went to in search of the deer and he left his body. And in the next lifetime, he became a deer. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajante kalevaram. Krishna says, whatever consciousness you leave the body, that body you take for sure. And then in the following lifetime, but still he remembered his past lifetime. He stayed near a sage hermitage. Deers don't live for a long time. He left the body. And in the third lifetime, he was born as Jada. He was asking like a Jada, completely, disgusting. He lived so that nobody comes near him. And he executed his Krishna consciousness and he went back home, back to Godhead. So therefore, we can see that any activity, even from Bhagavad Mahapuran, several stories, and even in this world, we saw that how I gave an example of that devotee who was a pujari and who slipped, how he got back again. From all these instances, what do we know? What are we coming to understand? That Krishna consciousness is eternal. Anything that we started, it is not going to end for us. Okay, Mataji. So we saw that characteristics of Buddhi Yoga means doing everything to satisfy Krishna's senses, not for our own senses. That is Buddhi Yoga. In short, doing things to satisfy Krishna's senses. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam. Okay, highest transcendental quality of work is what? Working in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest transcendental. No loss or diminution in this work. And this Buddhi Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, when it starts, there is no loss at all. Everything that you have done is a gain without any loss. Even if somebody commits a very sinful activity like Ajamila, still because of his previous devotional activity he did, Krishna gave him a second chance and saves one from the greatest danger. What is the greatest danger of? Fear of death or fear of going to the lower species of life. Okay, Mataji. So I hope this sloka was inspiring and motivating to all of you, whomsoever is practicing Krishna consciousness.
Yes, Mataji.
Actually, Mataji, yesterday I went through this sloka, okay, this one and 40 and
Mhm.
41. But what I could understand on my own and what today's class is
Mhm.
really helps me to actually attend the class to and then understand the sloka.
Mhm.
So that's what I felt, Mataji. Because yesterday I was just going through 40 and 41. I went through the
Mm.
old one because
Mm.
told me
Mm.
Gita is there
Mhm.
next week. Gita
Mm.
Ekadashi. I said,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Mhm.
Read as much as or hear at least how much ever you can of the Gita.
Mm.
Going through, let me at least do the next sloka of what Mataji is
Mm.
going to teach. And I
Mhm.
read it, okay? I read it and I could understand this, but
Mhm.
what I'm able to understand in this class, no, is
Mhm.
much more.
Yes,
So, and
Mataji.
I'm just telling you how useful the class is also because I
Yes,
was
Mataji.
able to.
Yeah, because
So,
Mataji, we try to share many things that we have heard from Prabhupada's class, from other devotees' class, and also from Bhagavatam, whatever we are reading. I'm trying to bring everything. This comes under the subject. Yes, Prabhupada has given certain purport, but there are certain realizations that we have gone through these slokas and other instances from Bhagavatam. So this is why when we are doing a detailed study, this is the advantage, Mataji. We try to bring in many things. So this sloka is like that, Mataji. You can talk for another 2 hours also. But we are in less of time. But when you are doing devotional service, when you're reading Bhagavatam, hearing, you will get several realizations for this sloka. Neha Bikramana Sosti. Pratyavayona Vidyate. Because even in our own lifetime, if I look myself behind and how I got into Krishna consciousness, so sometimes I feel what I have done to get this. Maybe in the past lifetime, we have all done something because of which we are having the attraction to hear about Krishna, to speak about Krishna. Because 99 percentage people of this world, they are not interested to read Bhagavad Gita. They are not interested to read Bhagavatam. They are not interested to hear about Krishna, right? Only few people are interested to hear. That is also coming from our past life because we have done something in our previous life. Therefore, we could get back to devotional activity. And we should be very careful at the same time. When we become negligent, we can slip from Krishna consciousness. From Bharat Maharaj story, we are understanding. Yes, you get it, that is next thing. But first thing is, because we become negligent, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, uh, Maya evam tarantite, because Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya. Maya is also Krishna's external energy, therefore, it is very, very difficult to overcome Maya. Mame eva prapadyante Maya metam tarantite. But one who is surrendered to me, they can easily come out of Maya. So, for us to come out of Maya each and every day, each and every moment, we should remain surrendered to Krishna. We should render service to Krishna or his pure devotees. By doing so, every minute, every day at least, we need to, before we sleep, we have to reflect ourselves, take 2 minutes. What have I done for Krishna today? Did I do my devotional service, whatever I thought for? We all have certain sankalp, right? We are all doing sadhana bhakti. Some of us are doing 16 rounds, 8 rounds, 4 rounds, whatever it is. Have I done that? Today, did I allot this much time for Krishna conscious today? Okay, some of us are giving 30 minutes, some of them are giving 2 hours, 3 hours, but did I give? So, this kind of reflections will help us to remain in bhakti. Otherwise, if you are not even knowing, after 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, you will see, where am I? Like in the class also, we see Mataji, some people, they started the class and they disappeared. They give a break and then they disappear. For some reason or the other, they take and they disappear. This happens everywhere. Because once you take a break from Krishna, it is very difficult for us to come back. Although you will come back, Krishna will take the assurance. But why do we first of all give that break? Why don't we remind? Why don't we finish off this business in one lifetime? That's what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj told to Prabhupada. Finish off this business in one lifetime. Perfect it so that go back home, back to Godhead. Right? Every lifetime we are taking, every life there is birth, death, old age, and disease. Why do we need to keep struggling again and again? We have got a plenty of opportunity to do Krishna consciousness now. So therefore, we should make use of it. If something in our life we consider to be fortunate is only when we get Krishna consciousness. Brahmanda Brahmite Kone Bhagyavan Jive. We have been wandering in many universe. Kone Bhagyavan Jive. Who is the most fortunate person? Guru Krishna Prasade. Who got the prasad of Guru and Krishna. What prasada? Bhakti Lata Bija. Who got the seed of Bhakti from Guru and Krishna. They are the most fortunate people, as stated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is none other than Lord Krishna, who came as Bhaktavatar in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, if we consider ourselves to be fortunate, is only when we get Krishna consciousness. We may get crores and crores of money. You may be a owner of let's say you can be an owner of a city also, but that will also go out of you when you leave the body. It's of no use. A limited amount of time you're having, you're just going to enjoy that. After that, that is also gone. And in fact, people who are in those high wealth, they are under more pressure to keep up their position. If you're world number one, then you have to keep up the position. Or if your shares goes down, then you slip to second position, and they have sleepless night, they have depression, anxiety. They may be very, we may think, okay, they are so rich, they are so nice, but we do not know what they are undergoing to maintain that. Correct? Whereas you will see a simple person who is just, sweeping the street. He may get little money. He may have a family. He will work. He will eat, and contently he may sleep. He will not have insomnia. He may not have anxiety. Right? So whatever, all these things are external. So the only thing that can come with us is Krishna conscious. Therefore, in this book marathon time, I request each and every one of you to give this Krishna consciousness to as many people as possible. Carry some books with you, give to your colleagues, give to your neighbors, give to someone. So give Krishna Prasad to everyone through the literatures of Krishna conscious literatures. Just we can all do that. It can be one, two, or three, whatever it is. But let us give this Krishna consciousness to everybody. This preaching is one activity which pleases Guru and Krishna. And Krishna himself said, Nachatasman Manusheshu Kashinyati Kritama. There's nobody more dear to me than the one who gives my glories to others. There's nobody more dear. That means Krishna said they are the dearest people who preaches his glories to others. And the opportunity we have right now is distributing the literatures of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is a pure devotee. By getting in touch with a devotee like Prabhupada, surely in one lifetime or the other, they will get into devotion and they will go back home, back to Godhead. Okay, Mataji. We should also give this thing to others also, not just keeping it for ourselves. We'll do the Narsimha Aarti. Namaste Narasimhaya Praladaladaine Hiranyakashi Purvashaka Shilatankanakalaye Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Bhagir Hridaye Narsimha Narasimhadim Sharanam Prapadye Tava Kara Kamala Varenakam Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringam केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह भगवान की जय। भक्ति शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। So all of you, please keep chanting. Chant. Use your tongue to chant Hare Krishna, to spread the glories of Krishna and to accept Krishna Prasadam. So just by using our tongue in the service